let's be very clear. The divide has always come from the immigrant class. Always. We have been the only ones welcoming them in as brothers and sisters and saying, hey, you black like me, we all black. The minute many of people from the immigrant class, they do something constructive, they go out of their way to distance themselves from us. So if they go get a PhD, well, I'm a Nigerian American, man. I'm the first Nigerian American with a PhD. All right, I mean, good for you, brother. If they win a track meet or whatever, oh, the first Ghanaian American, they go out of their way. This woman who's the spokesperson at the White House, they made a big deal about it. Well, she's the first Haitian American. She's Haitian. She's a Haitian American. They go out of their way when it's constructive. When a motherfucker rob a liquor store and he's Haitian or he's black.
There is this online war going on between African Americans, black Africans, and Africans. You are confused, right? Yes, I'm also confused. But I want us to watch this particular video. I will be back.
I'd rather feeling black than African American. Because Africans don't even fuck with us.
Wow.
Because they don't.
And Americans do?
Well, you're American, Mace. You're born in America. When you go to the Olympics, and when I say African American, you go over there, they call us Yankees and all that. They fuck with us, but we're not from the motherland. We're from America. So I'd rather say I'm a black American. When we go to the Olympics as a country, and somebody black is fighting from the United States, you don't say African American, you say American. You don't even put a color on it. It's an American fighter fighting a European fighter, or China or Japanese or anything. You're known in the Olympics as an American. It doesn't matter what color you are. You're an American fighting against somebody from Cameroon or Senegal, whatever. The point being is they don't categorize it when it's world competition, but when it's other shit, it needs to be categorized. So I consider myself a black American. I don't consider myself African American. And shout out to all my niggas in Africa, much love. But y'all don't consider us real Africans. Y'all don't.
This particular video is causing uproar on social media. Now let me dive a little deep on this issue. Do you know there are some African Americans, let me correct myself before they come for me. Do you know there are some black Americans who call themselves FBA, meaning Foundation Black Americans? This name, which was coined by a man called Tariq Nasheed, who is also a black American, and he called this particular name to create a distinction between African migrants and black Americans. I want us to watch this video as he explained why he came up with this organization called FBA, which means Foundation Black American.
The term Foundational Black American, I really got that term from Claude Anderson. I'm a big student of Claude Anderson, and I would chop it up with him, not just in my movies, but I would have him on my podcast, and he would talk about how unique Native Black Americans are. He would use the term Native Black Americans, and he would talk about how unique we are as far as our lineage. We are a unique group, which is true. And I started using the term Native Black American, but sometimes that term would confuse people because they thought, well, do you mean a Cherokee who's mixed with black? Do you mean a Choctaw who's mixed with black? So that term would be somewhat confusing. So I said, let's do another term. Let's tighten that term up so that there won't be any confusion. So foundational instead of native, because black people, we are the founders of this nation, meaning we're the foundation. We built this nation from scratch. So white people couldn't even say that they did that. But
you changed that term?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I came up with the term Foundational Black American based on Native Black American from Claude Anderson.
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah.
It's been taken off. I go on Clubhouse and there's these really interesting debates between foundational black Americans and black immigrants from Africa and the Caribbean. And it gets a little nasty sometimes.
It does get nasty, yeah.
And it's sometimes a little offensive, me being that I have roots. My roots are in the Caribbean, but my roots also go to slavery. In fact, I could trace my roots to the actual name of the slave that is a descendant on my dad's side named Julian Alonso, who was a runaway slave from an island called Curacao. Not too many people can name the person in their family who was that slave. So I feel like my history and my background is very similar to foundational Black Americans, but there's this divide now. And I think maybe the divide, some people saying the divide is becoming more severe because of you.
No, well, that's a cop-out because that's a projection. Let's be very clear. The divide has always come from the immigrant class. Always. We have been the only ones welcoming them in as brothers and sisters and saying, hey, you black like me, we all black. The minute many of people from the immigrant class, they do something constructive, they go out of their way to distance themselves from us. So if they go get a PhD, well, I'm a Nigerian American, man. I'm the first Nigerian American with a PhD. All right, I mean, good for you, brother. If they win a track meet or whatever, oh, they're the first Ghanaian American, they go out of their way. This woman who's the spokesperson at the White House, they made a big deal about it. Well, she's the first Haitian American. She's Haitian. She's a Haitian American. They go out of their way when it's constructive. When a motherfucker rob a liquor store and he's Haitian or he's black, if somebody go rapes 18 women, oh, he's Nigerian, but he's black. He's black.
So whose fault is that, though? It's not.
That's theirs and the white people too. That's theirs and the white people too.
I would say it's white media.
Yeah, and them. They do that shit too.
Well, they do it when it's to affirm some success.
Yeah. No, but you black when you want to dump your trash on us. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't want nobody's fucking trash. Yeah. I don't want nobody's trash. If we're going to be different when it's positive, be different when it's negative. Don't just be black when it's negative, and then we get the stigma for it. In New York right now, there's a lot of crimes against Asian people. The people just running up, hitting Asian people in the head in New York for no reason. We did the research. Many of these people are immigrants. These are not FBAs doing that. We look at the background of these people. We're seeing a lot of these people are not even FBA. But we get the stigma. So when the stop and frisk comes, I'm getting hemmed up because of what this motherfucker just did. We're saying enough is enough. If we're going to be all one group, let's be all one group. Since you're making it clear that we're different, we're going to be different all across the board. And we have a different, unique lineage, and that's okay. We celebrate everybody's unique lineage. They just had West Indian Day Parade out there in New York. Wonderful thing, celebrate that. Nobody has a problem when everybody else wants to celebrate their lineage. We have a lineage. We have a unique lineage here as Foundational Black Americans. We want to celebrate and acknowledge that. That's not divisive. That's what everybody else is doing.
Now it seems some section of Black Americans has bought into this ideology, which has started generating some sort of hate towards Africans. So they are now spreading some narratives that Africans don't like them. So they don't want anyone calling them African Americans, but instead, people should rather call them Black Americans. For some weeks now, I have seen a couple of tweets from this group called FBA directing at Africans and calling us names, also undermining the power of Pan-Africanism. I did not have issue of this whole conversation until I tried to engage some of them. Then I realized it was deeper than I thought. Some of them will go to Google and screenshot the worst thing about Africa and start insulting us with it. You know, racism used to be between whites on blacks. It seems now we have turned it between blacks on blacks. I want to ask something. Why did all this started happening after Ghana introduced the year of return and beyond the return? We have been allowing ourselves to be manipulated for over 400 years, and we are still going to allow ourselves to be manipulated for the remaining years. This whole thing is not really a problem. We don't have problem of somebody identify as different group, but we all know segregation and discrimination against blacks has been there for over a decade, not a decade, centuries. If a Black American travels to Europe, the same discrimination he will face is when Africans travel to Europe. That's the same discrimination they are all going to face because they see us all blacks and they see us all Africans. So it's going to be weird. For now, African will meet another African, American, black American, and we are also going to discriminate against ourselves. This is where my issue comes in. So whatever foundations they are trying to build, or whatever identity they are trying to build, they should make sure Africa don't become their enemy. Africans don't become their enemy. Because we see them as brothers, we see them as uncles, we see them as our fathers. So they should not project in a way that we are now going to fight among ourselves, or we are now going to spread hate among blacks. Because racists only see black. They have been undermining Pan-Africanism. They have been talking trash about Pan-Africanism. No, Pan-Africanism is not what they are thinking it is. So, those leading this foundation of black Americans should put their things together, should advise their people not to spread hate. Because what I'm seeing on social media is not really encouraging. They are now attacking Africans like how a racist will attack an African. It has become a whole lot of insults among Africans and African Americans. Yes, why I said the situation is between African Americans, Black Americans, and Africans, because majority of the African Americans also see themselves as Africans. So anytime the debate comes or the argument starts on social media, you will see some African Americans supporting the Africans to diffuse the narratives of the FBA people. So not all the African Americans are into this. Some are into that, and majority see themselves as Africans. If they don't see themselves, this December, they shouldn't have traveled all the way from US to come and spend their holiday in Ghana. Let's work together. Don't let us create enemies. Let's create love. Let's share love among ourselves instead of spreading enemies and spreading hate among ourselves. Please, you can join my Telegram group by going through my description box and clicking on the Telegram link I have put in my description box. Don't also forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on my notification button so that anytime I upload any great content, you will be notified. Thanks for watching.